I'm BrianTheBlue, and welcome back to Current Calamities, where I take a break from the past to look forward to the future with the games of the present.
Nintendo Switch Sports, the next entry in the sports series that I don't think anybody expected, but are nonetheless excited for.
I've been asking for a sequel to any game in the Wii series for ages, just so I could play as a me again, so I was glad to see this announced. And then I saw what the avatars looked like, and I was like, do they not remember that Miis are a thing?
I was a Wii kid growing up, so I had Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort and have plenty of fun memories. The only one I don't have is Club because I didn't have a Wii U then and I've only gotten a Wii U recently.
And to be honest, did you remember there was an entry on the system? Neither did I. But we'll compare what we do have to what we got now to see if it continues a legacy, tarnishes it, or just leaves it up in the air. By the way, this is the first time in a while I got a launch day bonus at Target. This time it's a drawstring bag, which I'm never gonna open or use, so let's head off to Woohoo.
Took a bit to reach our destination with all the data downloading, controller updating, and oh so familiar warning and calibrating screens. We're at this screen where we can customize our character.
Now I'm gonna ask the question again, why did they put Miis on the Switch for us to not use them as much? I used to like creating Miis on any system that had them, and I still do on the Switch as you saw with the Miitopia video. And I think I know why that video got more traction is because people like Miis.
Luckily you can add your own Mii and skip all the other customizables and get yourself acquainted with Spocko Square?
I guess there's more than one thing that got left behind on the Wii.
But we've got a few games that have carried over along with some new ones, but we'll stick to what we know first and start off with a classic in swordplay, now known as Chambara. This one came from Wii Sports Resort and I obviously had to replay the original to formulate a better opinion on the Switch version, and while the original was rather fast and maybe unfair, Switch Sports is more of the same, but I feel it's just a bit more simulated. The swipes aren't as free-flowing when you make a swipe, but that's probably to avoid loss of calibration, as my Wii remotes were definitely feeling their age.
My OG Motion Pluses aren't working well anymore. Had to resort to the one that had it built in.
The game itself is fine, though I was kinda disappointed with the other modes you can select, cause they aren't other game modes like in Resort. You just pick a different sword, like the Charged Sword, which is a Twizzler that makes lightsaber sounds, and the Twin Swords, which sound good on paper, but faulty in execution.
Besides, they give you no tactical advantage whatsoever. Neither do engravings.
On a similar note, playing and winning a match earns you points towards unlockable prizes that you can add to your character.
Okay, whatever. Off to the next sport.
Tennis, an original sport from the original game, and I can't really tell them apart as they're very similar, except the new one will center your guy quite literally sometimes, and they added the weak hit to power advantage like you could do in table tennis.
Man, that was such a good sport. Why is it not on here? Especially when you consider all the other net sports, but I'll come back to that. Got another prize and I can only earn 2 a day? What the hell is this? Oh, now you're gonna encourage me to purchase an online subscription for pissant rewards? I don't need this bullshit. I didn't even realize I chose global play. I'm gonna stick to local play from here on out. Now I have no problem with Switch Sports going online. It'll be better for the series to thrive in the long run. I'm just not gonna pay for a subscription for something that should be free. And it's Nintendo. They haven't completely grasped the concept after all this time.
Now that bullshit's out of the way, let's try the undeniable classic in bowling. It's a staple in the series as it appears in every game, and with good reason. It's the easiest to control and play, with this being no different. It's still simple to get down with probably more refined motion controls, or at least on par to what you could get on Clubhouse games just about. But you also get the special mode, or what used to be referred to as spin control, with varied obstacles in your way to challenge you in getting a strike in a slightly abnormal way.
Bowling is still enjoyable as it always has been, and they weren't going to screw this one up above the others. I just wonder why there's no 100 pin mode. I mean, that was the best mode and it's not here? Has Nintendo forgotten what's made the sports fun?
I question that further when getting into badminton. To me, this inclusion doesn't make much sense when you have tennis already here and volleyball on the other end too. While I'm thinking about it, I was questioning its inclusion initially too, but it has a different playstyle compared to the other two, so I'll let it slide.
Plus it was more fun than it was on Mario Sports Mix, so we've got some improvements there.
Badminton, on the other hand, I could do without. It drags on, and I consider it the worst out of the bunch. Not canoeing levels of bad, just nothing that stacks up to the rest.
Kinda surprised they chose a sport that has cock in the name of what you hit. That's a shuttlecock. Nintendo is growing before our eyes. Honestly, you could have replaced it with anything else, like table tennis. That would have been better. And I know pickleball is popular. I don't know why, but it is.
Now to the final game, and what might be a new favorite, soccer. I only say that because this isn't your typical soccer game. The balls are large, your kicks have passion, and your hair is...
Yeah, that's gonna happen to me when I get popular, huh? I'd rather just shave my head and paint myself blue and see if I get in the blue man group.
Anyway, this one had the most put into it with additional modes and animations, and yes, it was very fun to score goals from a distance.
This is a very good version of the sport, and totally not a ripoff of another game with a similar concept.
Out of all the new ones, soccer pretty much wins the day, and I'm gonna try and get better at it myself with a little practice.
Oh, and if you're wondering why the box is this size, it comes with a leg strap so you can use it in the shootout mode. But who needs that crap when you can cheat the system? Doesn't have the same kick when you used to face Matt or Ryan.
And that's Nintendo Switch Sports, for now anyway. There's still the promise of golf to come, and that should lighten things up around Spocko. But right now, the game is looking pretty... meh at the moment, with some good games and others I deem questionable. Some of them even lack additional modes that I would want to try and get me more interested in the sport I play. But with the promise of more sports in the future, maybe it could be redeemed. And while they're at it, they should bring in basketball. That was one of the best, and I know I'll be in the minority, but boxing was one of my favorites. Nothing more satisfying than a KO blow.
So with all that being said, what's my overall opinion?
I'll be honest, replaying Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort filled me with so many good memories as I had fun and put a lot of time into them. Nintendo Switch Sports, I think, has the potential to not necessarily capture the same magic, but fulfill the modern need, but we'll just have to wait and see. On the surface, it has some good games in tennis and volleyball, some absolute classics in Chambara, bowling and soccer, and badminton's there, so good for it. You can tell which games had more love put into them over the others, but since more games will be coming about, there will be time to rectify this, if they want to, that is. Now don't get me wrong, I'm glad that it's making the jump to online. I just think it's pitiful and clunky the way Nintendo does it. I hope Switch Sports does well, but I am a fan of former for a reason. Now can we get a different game in the Wii series come to the Switch? Maybe not Play cause Clubhouse has that covered. We already have Ring Fit for Wii Fit. Oh, Wii Party, those were fun. More of those please? So what do you think? Do you agree with me, or have your own thoughts? Let me know by leaving a comment. If you like what you see, like the video with those thumbs up. If you think anyone else would like this vid, share it around. And if you want to see more of me, this show, and others, hit the subscribe button. I'm BrianTheBlue, thanks for watching. I'm going back to the past, and until next time, I'll see you in the future.